Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time of visiting this channel, I would like you to hit the subscribe button and don't forget to smash the notification bell so that whenever I post a new video, you will get notified as soon as possible. Yeah, so last week was great. All right, we had another great week last week. Yes, we had a very great week last week. Last week we caught 6,000 pips on Nasdaq. Here I made a video on how I was able to catch that amount of pips. So the link is in the description box below. Just look through and then click on the link and then watch how simply I did that. All right, yes. And so going into this week, just as we normally do, we go through these few pairs and we see what the market really has for us. But bear in mind, when we get to Nasdaq, I'll open up the chart again. I mean, I will scale down to the lower time frame where I took the trade, and briefly I'll re-echo an overview of how I did it. All right, but the main video of how I took that 6,000 pips is inside the description box. All right, the link is in the description box below, so you might want to check on the description box below, click on the link and then watch the video. If you haven't joined my Telegram channel yet too, the link is in the description box below. Hit on the link and then be part of the Forex community, because educational content are coming. All right, yes, I just released one educational content. That is how I made that 6,000 pips this weekend. Next weekend too, there's another educational content dropping, so you wouldn't want to miss. All right, you wouldn't want to miss. So if you're not part of the Telegram community, click on the link and then be part of the Telegram community. If you're not part, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, just hit on the subscribe button and then smash the notification bell. All right, yeah. So let's go through these few pairs and then see what the market has for us going into next week. Yeah, so for the dollar index, last week I made you aware that I made you aware of my previous monthly high and then a previous monthly low, and so I was expecting to see where price would draw to, and at the moment we've seen price break up the previous monthly high. And once this happens, then literally it means we are still going to see what higher prices on the dollar index. We are still going to see higher price on the dollar index, but I'm really expecting a slight pushback. All right, let's go to the 4-hour time frame and see. I'm expecting a little bit of a slight pushback, clearing up this liquidity and filling at least 50% of this liquidity void. All right, before we see price push to the upside. So I'm actually expecting the market to come down to clear this liquidity we are seeing here, push at least 50%. We might see situation where the market might even pull back to this rejection block that was violated before we see a push to the upside. But at least, if not for anything at all, we might see price push a little bit into this zone before we see price continuing to the upside. All right, yeah. So going into next week, I would want to see price push down a little bit before we see a continuation to the upside. So that will be my expectation for the dollar index going into next week. Let's look at what is happening on the AUDUSD. Let's look at what is happening on the AUDUSD. Yeah, so for AUDUSD, let's quickly switch the daily time frame to get a broad overview. Price is still stuck at the previous monthly low. All right, the monthly low has already been broken. Price went back again to the monthly low and price is still stacked. All right, price is still stacked in here. Based on the sentiment on the dollar index, I'm also expecting the Aussie dollar to push a little bit up. But let's go to the lower time frame and see what is happening. All right, so I mean, we are likely to see price consolidate a little bit here. All right, if you are going to see price push to the downside, but definitely if price is going to push to the upside, I want to see price break out. All right, I want to see price break out of this close here before we see a continuation to the upside. All right, yeah. So if this happens, then definitely we are going to see price push to the upside, because we are seeing a whole lot of liquidity, buy side liquidity up here. Yeah, there are a lot of liquidity up here, and so I wouldn't be surprised if going into next week I see this price action happening. All right, But looking at the sentiment of the dollar index is showing strength. The dollar index is still showing strength, and I'm expecting some slight push down to fill that liquidity void before we see a push to the upside. So if I am dwelling on the dollar index, or if I'm dwelling on the sentiment of the dollar index, then I'll be expecting the Aud USD to push to the downside. But hey, I wouldn't be surprised to see Aud USD pushing up and the dollar index to pushing up. I mean, it happens. All right, what is very important is the price action on the market. All right, it happens. All right, it happens. So that is what I'll be expecting. All right, I'll look at dollar sentiment and then look at what the price action is, what is also doing on AUDUSD. So that is just that for AUDUSD. Let's look at what is happening on NZDUSD. So AUDUSD, NZDUSD, same plan. All right, just as we've seen price stacked in here. All right, we are likely to see price push a little bit up to the zone before we see that drop. But if price should break above the zone, close above it, then definitely you're going to see price push into the zone. All right, so if this happens, this is going to be my first area of what take profit. All right, yeah. So going into next week, I'll be very observant. All right, because at the moment the dollar index is showing strength. All right, the dollar index is showing strength, whilst the NZDUSD and then AUDUSD is not giving us a clearer picture. All right, yeah. So going into next, I'm very observant. But looking at the daily, we are likely to see a little bit push up before we see a push to the downside, because there is what buy side liquidity resting up here, and then right above the buy side liquidity we have a little bit of a fair value gap. I spoke about it last week, but just the price couldn't reach out there. I'm still looking for you to see price pushing to that side. All right, on the daily perspective. So let's just look at what happens next week. All right, yeah, let's look at what happens next week. So let's look at what is happening on Gbp USD. All right, and for a while now I've made you aware that for a while now the currency market is rough. So even though I bring you weekly analysis, you realize that I've slashed a lot of pairs. You are left with these few percent. These are the pairs I'm going to focus on, and if we can get to a time you see me reducing it, right? Yes, because the way things are going in the currency market, I mean, I don't like it. All right, yes, I feel much comfortable trading the indices these days rather than the currency market. Yeah, it is what it is. All right, when the market adjusts, you also adjust. That is how you should react as a trader. Let's look at what has happened on Gbp USD. So for Gbp USD, we've seen price in a bearish order flow. Price was respecting the highs, breaking lows, respecting highs, breaking lows, respecting highs, breaking the lows. Yeah, so we are in a bearish sentiment. All right, we are in a bearish sentiment. So going into next week, I want to see price push a little bit up into this zone before we see a continuation to the downside. If you're not going to see that continuation to the downside, then I'm expecting to see price break above the zone, close at this zone, then we see a push to the upside. All right, but let's push to the lower time frame and see. Let's go to lower time frame and see. So just as I was expecting, we are seeing what this is an old low an old high that is representing a buy side liquidity here, and then we are also seeing a fair value gap here. Yeah, we are seeing a fair value gap here. I don't know if you are seeing things clearly, but this is a fair value gap. All right, this is a fair value gap. Yes, this is a fair value gap. And so right above the buy side liquidity, we are having a fair value gap here. All right, and you've seen price pushing towards that direction. So going into next week, if you still continue with a dollar strength, all right, I would want to see price push a little bit up, fill this fair value gap back into this zone, then we see price continue to push to the downside, clearing this sell side liquidity we are seeing here. All right, yeah, so that is my expectation on Gbp USD. That is my expectation on Gbp USD. Let's look at what is happening on Euro USD. For Euro USD, I'm expecting a pullback. Yes, I made this annotation that was somewhere last week during the trading, one of the trading weeks, and I posted it on my Telegram community. Yes, I think so. I'm expecting a push. All right. Yes, I'm expecting a push. But let me update it. Let me update it, because my expectation wasn't met last week. Yes, so I'm expecting price to push up to the zone, and then we see price push to the downside. All right, so we might even see price extend from this zone, because I'm marking out this zone because here is what is an old low that has been violated. Sell side liquidity has been taken away, so I'm expecting to see price push up. All right, we might see further up movement to this zone. All right, and then we push to the downside. All right, so we are whatever we are seeing here is a bearish order block. Yeah, so going into next week, this would be my expectation. All right, this will be my expectation on the dollar index, sorry, Euro USD going into next week. All right, yeah, so if I don't see this happening, I mean, I'm just going to fold my arms and then see what is going to happen. All right, or I'll just try to catch some intraday moves on the market. But if I see this happening, then hey, I'm going to take trade right from here to the zone. All right, and that is going to be a swing trade, of course. Yeah, so that is just that for Euro USD. Let's look at what has happened USDCAD. So for USDCAD, we are still in this trade. I posted this trade on my channel. Yes, I posted this trade on my channel. I think was it Thursday or Wednesday. Yes, and I made an update on Friday. Yeah, so currently this is where we are. Currently this is the trade we are in. All right, that is a 1 to 3.7 risk to reward. All right, a 1 to 3.7 risk to reward. We risk 49.4 pips, and then we are targeting 183 pips. All right, which is a very good risk to reward trade. So going into next week, I'm expecting to see some continuation or to the downside. Just that we are likely to see, when the market opens, we are likely to see a little bit of a push. All right, we are likely to see a little bit of a pullback before we see continuation to the downside. So going into next week, that is my expectation on USDCAD. All right, that is my expectation on USDCAD going into next week. Now let's move to Nasdaq. Let's look at what is happening on Nasdaq. Yeah, so for Nasdaq, let's look at what is happening on Nasdaq. So last week was insane. All right, last week was we had a very insane profit on Nasdaq. All right, yes, we had a very insane profit of Nasdaq, but apparently I'm expecting to see Nasdaq continuing to push up next week to this zone. Then we see a massive sell-off. All right, we see a massive sell-off because of the strength, the dollar strength I spoke about. All right, because of dollar strength I spoke about. But let's shift to the 4-hour time frame and see. So going into next week, I'm expecting to see price continuing a little bit up. All right, continue a little bit up to the zone. All right, then we see a fall off. All right, we see a fall off. But let's quickly go through how I took this trade. All right, how I took the 6,000 pips. All right, yes, the full video is in the description box below, where I gave like deeper insights on that. All right, what I considered and all that. And so just go and then watch that video. All right, I released a lot of nuggets in that video, so go and watch that video. But let's look at something here. All right, so we took this trade, I think it was 5th. All right, I posted it in my channel. Yes, I posted this trade in my Telegram channel. So if you're not part of it, that should tell you what you are missing. All right, if you're not part of my Telegram channel, it should tell you, or it should clearly tell you what you are missing. So if you're not part of it, the link is in the description box below. Click on the link and then become part of the Forex Telegram community. All right, yeah. So this is what I did. All right, and I took the trade New York session. All right, I took the trade New York session. So I waited for the buy side liquidity to be taken off. Sorry, I waited for the sell side liquidity to be cleared, and once the sell side liquidity was cleared, I targeted the buy side liquidity, of which I took partials here, and then I extended this to this zone because there was a liquidity void in here and another block in here. So I was expecting to see price push up to that zone, and it did exactly that, and we even had a little bit of extension. And we took this trade on Friday. Yes, Friday too, we took another beautiful trade on Nasdaq. Let's shift to the 15 minutes time frame to see it clearer. Let's shift to the 15 minute time frame. Yes, we took a very beautiful, all right, a very beautiful trade on Nasdaq on Friday again. All right, yes. So Friday's trade was a 1-to-5 risk to reward. We risked 32 points. All right, we risked 32 points, which is 320 pips for 170 points, which is 1,700 pips. All right, 1,700 pips. So that is just that. All right, yeah. So the same concept I took with the 6,000 pips, the same concept I took with this one. All right, and I posted this too on my Telegram channel. Yeah, I posted this on my Telegram channel prior to the New York session. So this is what happened during the Asia. All right, this is what happened during the Asia. So this was my Asian range. So London, we had a fake out in London. All right, we had a fake out in London, filling this fair value gap we are seeing here, tapping into this zone, and then getting to the New York session. We saw price pushed up. All right, we saw price pushed up. I see, even though we nearly stopped, we're nearly out of the trade, but hey, it is what it is. All right, I wasn't even closer to my chart when all these skirmishes were happening. So I mean, imagine if you were seeing this, I know some people were out of this trade because of this. All right, yes, I know some people were out of this trade because of this, but hey, it is what it is. All right, I just came back and realized, that this happened. I was like, wow, this thing happened. Well, that's fine. All right, yeah. So that is just that. All right, this was my Asian range. So I waited to see which of the sides will be taken. Will it be the sell side or the buy side? The sell side liquidity was taken, then my focus has to be on the buy side, right? So I was targeting the buy side, and it did exactly that. All right, so it gave us 1,700 pips. All right, that is 170 points, and that was beautiful. All right, that was beautiful. Okay, so that is just that going into next week. All right, I hope you've gained value up till now. So please, if you haven't subscribed, just hit on the subscribe button, and then thank you so much for the subscription so far. All right, yes, thank you so much for the subscription so far, and keep the likes coming. All right, like, share, and then comment. All right, let me see your comment. I don't see your comment at all. All right, it is only Samuel Owusu that I see his comment, and then I mean his comment is one way. we always testify. I mean, sometimes when I see it, I begin to laugh. I say, this guy, he's always giving me a one-way comment. All right, yeah, but I mean, it's all good. All right, I appreciate all of you for the support so far. All right, let's keep pushing. All right, if you haven't subscribed, please do me that favor, hit on the subscribe button. All right, and then smash the notification bell. All right, yeah. So I mean, that is just that. Just as I told you, another educational content to be dropping next weekend. All right, yeah, other educational content will be dropping next weekend, and you wouldn't want to miss out. If you haven't watched the previous one, that is how I caught 6,000 pips on Nasdaq with a very simple strategy. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it. It's going to help you a lot. All right, at least you can add certain things to the already strategy that you have in your reader. Yeah, so that is just that going into next week. Thank you so much for watching. I'll come your way again another time. I wish you all good luck and good trade.